This is with us on NewsX World today. Meanwhile, viewers, in a major diplomatic shift, Afghanistan and Pakistan have now agreed to resume peace talks in Istanbul on the 6th of November. Turkey's foreign ministry has announced that both sides have also committed to maintaining a ceasefire until the talks begin. The statement details on how the ceasefire will be implemented. It will be discussed at a high-level meeting in Istanbul. In fact, Turkey and Qatar are jointly mediating the process after recent clashes had taken place along the Afghan-Pakistan border that stretches 2,600 kilometers. The strikes had taken place earlier this month. The situation escalated, and it was Qatar that had mediated first, and a temporary fragile truce was reached on the 19th of October. Meanwhile, the international community is closely watching this development, hoping that it marks a step towards lasting stability in the region. With us on the broadcast is Major General Sudhakarji, Senior Geopolitical and Strategic Defense Expert, joining us from New Delhi. Thank you so much for taking our time and speaking to us on NewsX World. Of course, we've been discussing over the last couple of days how it was just one last-minute phone call from Islamabad that had resulted in the Pakistani delegation's abrupt U-turn as a deal was about to be finalized. But it now seems that the mediators, both Turkey and Qatar, have managed to convince Afghans and Pakistanis to come back to the negotiating table in Istanbul on the 6th of November. But this border tiff that has taken place, the escalation that has taken place, is rooted in a long-standing conflict, a long-standing denial by the Afghan side of the Durand line. So even if a deal is reached, do you think then that the hostilities would not resume in the future, or is there a possibility of that still happening?
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for getting me for your morning show. And to answer your question straight away, all I would say, hope is everything in human life and the universe. And peace is such a eluding factor today that despite all challenges, we should continue to remain optimistic. Now, having said that, let me dilate the issue that it's a very, very complex issue between Afghanistan and Pakistan. And often they have sat down together when the conflicts are on, the exchange of fire is going on across the border. They have their track two going on, one sitting at, both the track two teams sitting at either Kabul or in Islamabad. And they have somehow or the other, they managed to bring the violence level down to an acceptable level, and they have carried on. But this time it appears to be as if the raw nerve of self-esteem of a country has been challenged. When I say that raw nerve of the self-esteem of a country, it is the sovereignty of Afghanistan blatantly has been challenged by aerial violation, which is in military meaning interpretation, it means that the conflict is on. It's the total disregard and disrespect to the sovereignty of a country. So therefore, I would say that while on one hand, everything seems to be bleak, there is no sign, no light at the end of the tunnel, yet there is no harm in trying. And the second point I would like to highlight is that these are happening to a design. There is a greater plan. And the greater plan is Donald Trump as an individual. He's averse to any kind of conflict. He doesn't like war. He wants peace. He wants to make business. And business cannot go on if there is an ongoing conflict. And at the moment, he's looking for places which will afford him or give him adequate rare earth element, minerals, critical minerals, as also given the dominance which they lost out in a haphazard withdrawal way back in 2021, whether it is Middle East or Southeast Asia or East Asia. So they want to get back and give a pushback to the Chinese penetration, which has already happened. They are fully deeply entrenched. So you may call it in short as a strategic rivalry between USA and China. And in order to fulfill that agenda or hidden objective, They would like to have peace. They would like USA to restore their status quo of dominance in Bagram airfield and also dominance in Afghanistan so as to deny further penetration of China, be it for the rare earth element or for the minerals or for harnessing or harvesting of gas, liquid natural gas, which is fourth largest in Turkmenistan, or the expansion of the BRI project, which is taken a very, I would say, discouraging beating rather across Pakistan from Kashgar to Gwadar. They've spent a lot of money, but I doubt if CPEC will see the light at the end of the tunnel. So put together, this is always, you have to give chance to the hope and optimism and keep trying best to get peace and normalcy back to this area. As such, Taliban is already indicated to USA they would like to play ball and with the major engagement in the geopolitical challenges with USA, and they would like to focus on the country's socio-economic development. Taliban as a force in Afghanistan today are averse to any kind of conflict with anyone. But if push comes to shove, if the self-esteem of a nation or the sovereignty is challenged, well, they will be pushed to a corner wherein they have to take recourse to violent measure, and they will give a push back to Pakistan to the best of their satisfaction. Back to you, Pia.
All right, sir. With that, I would like to thank you for taking out time, of course, providing that perspective to all of our viewers. We're tracking more news, this time as far as Hurricane Melissa is concerned. We're now learning that Hurricane Melissa's death toll has climbed to 49 after wreaking destruction across much of the northern Caribbean and picking up speed as it headed past the Bermuda in the North Atlantic. Haiti has suffered days of torrential rains from the slow-moving storm and has reported at least 30 deaths and 20 missing cases. Meanwhile, Jamaica's information minister has confirmed that at least 19 deaths in the region have taken place and that rescue and search efforts continue. The storm has reportedly left hundreds of thousands without power, roofs of buildings have been ripped apart, and fields are also scattered with rubble. You can see those visuals, they speak for themselves. Amid all this chaos and destruction, several tourists are stranded in Jamaica. Let's listen in to what they've had to say.
The storm was bad, devastated. It was very bad. Every roof was off the house, every roof. It didn't spare nobody. Every tree was off, all the trees, everything, every building. It was devastated. It's not good. No light, no water. I want to go back to New York. I want to go home. I got enough of this. It's a lot.
I went into Kingston for the storm, came back to get some stuff yesterday. It took me 6 hours. It took me at least 6 hours to get back to Montego Bay from Kingston yesterday. The highway was closed. You had some other blockage of road and trees falling down, water puddles and stuff. So we got back, it was okay. Then we've got petrol issues. I still haven't got any petrol going back into Falmouth. We're trying to get as close as possible. Montego Bay hasn't got any petrol. Most of the petrol stations are down. So yeah, it's just kind of just a bit difficult. I don't think the local police are any help, to be honest. Being abroad or foreign, it doesn't really help you either. So it's just hard, just trying to find your way around. No signal, no data. And that's just kind of, yeah, that's just it, to be honest.
More news coming in, this time from the United Kingdom. We're now learning that King Charles III has stripped his brother, Prince Andrew, of his royal titles and has removed him from his long-time home on the Windsor estate following the scandal surrounding Jeffrey Epstein. Andrew will now be known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and has been ordered to move outside of Windsor Castle. This move follows renewed accusations of sexual assault by Andrew, who has denied these claims. Andrew agreed to pay millions to victim Virginia Griffer in 2022 in order to end her lawsuit. Meanwhile, public outrage over the scandal has grown, especially after revelations about Andrew's connections to Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Andrew is expected to relocate to Sandringham, funded privately by Charles. At the same time, Australia's Prime Minister stated that he respects King Charles' decision, calling it a matter for His Majesty to deliberate upon. Listen in.
That's all a matter for His Majesty, but I think His Majesty King Charles can make decisions without the benefit of my advice, I think is probably the correct answer to that. And they work through those things. We respect decisions that are made by the royal family.
News coming in this time from Tanzania. We're now learning that Tanzania has extended the lockdown a day after elections turned into violent chaos. Soldiers and police officials were seen guarding the main roads in the country's biggest city. Unconfirmed reports coming from the country have informed of several deaths during the protests. There are allegations against President Samia Suluhu Hassan of solidifying her grip over power and contesting the polls virtually unchallenged, as many opposition leaders have either been jailed or barred from contesting the elections. This all has sparked violence in the country. On the day of the polls, hundreds took to the streets, tearing down posters and attacking a police station as well. As the lockdown was extended, tourists were seen stranded at airports since flights were cancelled as well. The government spokesperson has informed that schools would remain shut and civil servants would work from home. However, an internet blackout was partially lifted earlier, with limits still imposed on international calls.